See how yeah, alright, so that's cool, it just played it by itself. I didn't have to do anything, I actually have an outro as well I'm gonna use, I'm assuming once I hit end stream, it's gonna use the outro for when it's on YouTube. I have no idea how it works, but how you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to talk some Star Wars.
Star Wars, you can't really see behind me, but I was fucking around with thumbnails yesterday, and Galactic Gossip, which is obviously what this segment is called for anything Star Wars, all things Star Wars. So that's in the red planet shape behind you, but behind me it says a Star Wars show. So I want to use that as my default thumbnail for any time we go on or I go on, we talk Star Wars, and that's it. So yeah, so this is Galactic Gossip. This is a Star Wars show, and this is, granted, a week later, but our discussion, spoiler review for the Book of Boba Fett finale that aired a week ago today. So I couldn't wait to talk about it. I went on your wait, did I went on your stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I went on your stream talk about no. The only reason why I got confused, I know you had a couple other streams that you kind of you dove in a little bit with this. So, and of course, last night's stream, Mr. E says, "Sup, y'all? What's up, Mr. E? How you doing? Thank you for joining in. So this is a new service, guys. I'm trying out. So there's a couple of things I'm still trying to figure out while we're on live. So, okay, do you want to I'll let you start. So, whether you want to talk about the series as a whole, or if you want to just start with the finale itself, feel free. You know, what did you think of either or both?
I was a fan of both. No issues. Few nitpicks, but that's just the Star Wars purist in me of those nitpicks.
Mm-hmm. What's up, listener Jim?
But overall, it was a cool series. Like I said last night with JD and the guys. If you look at if you look at Book of Boba Fett the same way you look at Captain America: Civil War, everything just is way more acceptable because you're just watching something that is slowly progressing one person's story, but telling a larger story for the universe going forward. So I had no problem with it. I mean, the same way you watch Civil War and you go, well, look, on the other hand, we were either going to get Civil War or we were going to get the fucking Serpent Society.
Yeah.
No one wanted the fucking Serpent Society, so you know, you kind of appreciate like, all right, well, it's either that or an Avengers 2.0. I'll take the Avengers 2.0 over Captain America fighting snakes, right? So you look at Book of Boba and you're like, yeah, could you have done some really cool shit? Like just make it a bounty hunter show where Boba is you know, trying to reclaim his status as the greatest bounty hunter. For sure. 100%. Yes, you could have done that. But if you wanted to progress Boba to wanting to be more, or for him thinking he wants to be more, then sure, I'm part of that journey. And like I said, you just did really cool shit that just balanced it out for me. Like, yeah, did some of the first few episodes progress slowly? Sure. But it didn't take away from how I felt from Boba, because like I said, this Boba isn't new to me. In the cartoons, he was this passive. He became this passive. He started off as like a badass kid, and then he just learned to grow more of a conscience. So he just second guessed everything. And then of course seeing Cad Bane, knowing that Cad Bane was trained by Boba's father, and then tried to raise Boba until Boba told him to go fuck himself, was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then anytime you give me Luke and Ahsoka, I'm always gonna completely fucking freak out. Those are two of my favorite all-time Star Wars characters ever. So to see them on the same screen together is mind-blowing. So all in all, I still think they missed a huge opportunity to sell a lot of toys by giving Grogu actual armor and a lightsaber. But if what they're building towards is the name of the show, The Mandalorian, being more like Hawkeye,
yeah,
where it's more of a title that can be passed than a specific person, then okay, no problem. I'm curious to see how they get to that, to where Grogu becomes a Mandalorian, let alone the leader of the Mandalorians, where he has a Darksaber. So if that's what they're building up to, no problem. But you legit had right in your hands the chance for Grogu to have actual Mandalorian armor and a lightsaber that you could have made so much fucking money off toys on. I was ready for those pre-orders. But yeah, overall, thought it was pretty solid. And apparently, saw this yesterday. Me and Joel had a good laugh about it. Apparently,
Okay.
36% more people watched the Book of Boba's finale than they did the Mandalorian's finale.
Really?
And 36% more viewers watched the Book of Boba.
I wonder why that is.
I think just because conversation. And you got to remember, Mandalorian is something that's new to a lot of people.
Okay.
Boba you've at least seen before. You know, whether you know him or not, you've seen it. You know what I'm saying? Just even casual moviegoers remember the original movies where you at least saw the character.
Yeah, but the only reason why that strikes me as weird or odd is the fact that the reception for both, comparing the two, the reception for Mandalorian, the series, both season 1 and 2, was a lot warmer than the reception that Boba Fett has gotten as a series.
For sure, but it's just a pure conversation. Like Mandalorian season 2, because no one really knew what to expect, the conversation wasn't as aggressive till the Ahsoka episode and then till obviously the finale. Once the finale came out and everyone was
all
like,
right, that makes sense. I think
you've seen Luke, you've seen Ahsoka, so then a lot of people are like, well, shit, are they going to come back for the finale? Like, how crazy is it going to be? You know what I'm saying? So this just had more recognizable characters that people can kind of put their hands on. Mandalorian, no one knows Bo-Katan. No one knows, like, you know what I'm saying? No one knows Mando. No one knows Grogu unless you're watching season 1. So you just had too many faces that were, to a lot of casual people, new. For this, you've seen Boba before. Even if you haven't, you know Luke. I mean, goddamn, people that don't watch Star Wars know Luke. You know? So I think that's what led to it.
I agree with you. Now that you say that, and really quick, listen to Jim said, I agree with you, Juwan, but I still wanted Boba more front and center in all the episodes. But I can see your point of a bigger universe. Cad Bane. No, you're right. Why did he say no? It is Cad Bane, not Chad Bane. But it could also be from the Cad Bane hype. Mystery brings up a good point, but I think it was the other thing too. I think if episodes 5 and 6 or chapters 5 and 6 continue the story that we got from episodes 1 through 4, I don't think the finale is probably watched as at a higher rate. I think bringing the characters of Luke and Grogu and Ahsoka back in chapter 6, but also bringing the Mando back in chapter 5, and giving us a little window to what he's doing, to which I kind of figured they would. I mean, it made sense, marketing wise, but also just telling a story wise. So I think if chapters 5 and 6 were a little different, maybe chapter 7 would have been a little less watched. But I agree. Now that makes sense. It does. Yeah, I mean, look, I can't argue the fact that we got Star Wars. I can't argue the fact that this is coming from guys that truly love the universe in Filoni and Favreau, and they really are riding the ship that Disney kind of got wrong with the sequels. So I'm in agreement with all that. I'm in agreement with part of what Listener Jim said. No, I mean, what all Listener Jim said, because I also agree with you. I would have liked Boba more front and center, but it wasn't just that. So I can agree that this was, we got a lot of good Star Wars content from it. I got introduced for the first time as a Star Wars fan to Cad Bane. I never watched the animated series, so I knew nothing of this character. I knew of him before seeing him on big screen, so I was able to know who that was walking through the desert, which was cool. And I already knew the story and the backstory between him and what him and Boba Fett share. So it's not like I was ignorant to these characters. I just never seen them on the screen before. So I thought that was cool. Obviously, seeing Luke Skywalker and Grogu and Ahsoka, even Din Djarin, were all good things that I got from this series. But I still am on the side of, whether it's the writers, because again, look, yes, I know it's the same writers that gave us Mandalorian. I get it. But it doesn't mean that everything is going to be, a hit. So there were a couple of things I think they could have done a little differently. But the other thing, my main issue with the show was It was marketed to me, at least this is the way I see it. The way it was marketed was just different from what we got. I don't mind that Boba wanted to evolve from being a bounty hunter. I don't mind that this wasn't a bounty hunter show, because guess what? That's not what this was marketed to be. It was marketed to be underworld crime boss. He wanted to be the head of his family. I thought it was going to be a story based on that. You know, if you want to introduce Mando back, I'm telling you, it made sense. I wanted to see what Din Djarin was up to, because it's been over a year since we've seen him. So it just makes sense that they would have shown him, you know, a little clips here and there. But when we first seen Boba in season 2 of Mandalorian, chapter 15 or whatever it was, chapter 14, I can't remember what it was. But it was episode 6 of season 2. So I'm trying to do the math. If there's 8 and 6, yeah, it was 14. You know, he was fucking amazing. He was electric on just seeing him back on the big screen. Everybody couldn't wait to see Boba Fett again. Did I ask to see him? Did I ask for them to resurrect Boba Fett? No. It was a character I personally didn't care about in the original trilogy. I know a lot of people did, especially after his death, but that's whatever. So we got him back, you know, seeing the iconic Slave One fly by while Grogu was doing his Jedi thing, and we're tapping into, you know, trying to get an AT&T service in the mountains. So, you know, there were things that I loved about that episode. And once he put on that fucking armor, I was just like, holy shit, you know, and then we got the end credit scene with him fucking shooting Bib Fortuna and Fennec just basically blasting everybody that's in Jabba's castle, or Jabba's palace rather. And then we get the tease of a show that we're going to get. So when we finally fast forward to the series, and look, I don't even care about the flashbacks. I like them. I like that it was telling a bigger story. We needed to know how we all wanted to know, how the fuck did he get out of that Sarlacc pit? So, and they did away with that as soon as the show started. We seen it, and it was great. And then he develops this relationship with the Tusken Raiders that I thought was going to pay off at the end in a different way. I think we all did. That we thought either they were going to come to his rescue, or they were going to be involved in some way or form, and then they were all killed off for the most part. There was still some alive, but they chose not to show them. But it was just like, I would have been okay if episode 1 would have been that story, and then you progress, and I've even argued that the encounter that they had at the meeting, a little more aggression. All right, you don't want to shoot somebody dead, fine, but just a little more aggression. There were a couple of scenes that Boba could have been a little bit more aggressive in the present plot line. Remember, his aggressions came in the flashbacks, with the Nikto gang, when he, killed them, obviously in the Slave One, but also when he went to Tashi Station. A lot of that was past Boba. So again, I'm okay that he evolved. And like you said, Jawan, this was the Boba that you were used to in, what was it, Clone Wars? Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'm fine with that. But now you have somebody who's the casual viewer, and I hate using that word because I really don't think there's any right or wrong way to watch Star Wars. If you just watch the original trilogy and the prequels and the sequels, that's okay. You're going to miss out on things.
Let me just say this really quickly. Yeah. That's not a knock, but
no.
What I always try to say is,
right,
there's like, it's different having a conversation with someone who just casually knows it. And if you just casually know it, it's not a knock. We could talk as much Star Wars as possible. But it's then when it's like, well, then you aren't seeing certain things because you don't have the wider picture. If you had the wider picture and still disliked it, I wouldn't say half the stuff I'd say. It's like, well, fuck, you've seen everything of them. Yeah. You know them, and you just don't like where they're going. Mm-hmm. But it's when the certain pieces are missing that I'm like, well, then it's like, I kind of want you to at least see everything. And then if you still come to that same conclusion, by all means, I don't make any money from Disney, so I'm not here to sell you on you know what I'm saying, on Boba or anything like that. But mm-hmm. It's just, I always just want people, and again, they don't have to, and I'm learning that. But I just want you to have all the information possible. You know what I'm saying?
But either way, if you're saying that the Boba Fett in the Clone Wars, whether as a child or grown up, became that passive one that we've come to know, there's still error in the continuity, because that's not what we got in glimpses of him back on the big screen in Mando season 2. And also, it wasn't what was marketed as in a show. I mean, somebody who's passive probably doesn't want to become a crime boss.
Well, no, it's not. It's not necessarily passive. It's just the idea of I don't need to be as aggressive as I have been. Like that's what you needed to do to be a bounty hunter. You got to keep your head on the swivel. You got to always be looking out. But as we see with Jabba, there weren't all that many assassination attempts on Jabba. Jabba lived pretty comfortably. So he's like, well, if I could do that, I'd much rather do that to where I'm just resting comfortably and just ruling a planet. That's it.
Well, that's how he was. I mean, he was sort of like that in the original trilogies. He was a character in the background, right? He didn't really speak much. He had maybe, I think, one line in the whole trilogy. He only had a couple of scenes in the whole trilogy, right? So he really wasn't. I can't say, hey, and that's what I was trying to explain to you guys. Like, it wasn't like I'm like, well, that's not my Boba. Well, my Boba that I know of from 40 years ago or whatever was nothing. He first of all, he died a comical death. He was like I said, he was a background character that had a couple of lines. So my gripe wasn't because this isn't my Boba. He's not the elusive or the threatening bounty hunter. It was because he was brought to life and resurrected and back on the big screen. And, and I had said that one scene, once he puts a suit on, he's got the rockets coming from his knees. He's like fucking RoboCop with his blaster and he's using his rocket. And then you fast forward to when he was in danger a couple of times. And I brought up when him and Fennec get jumped outside the sanctuary. He was just like, all right, like you didn't try to rocket out. You could have grabbed Fennec and rocketed out of there. You could have used your fire. You could have used anything. Where were your knee blasters? Where was all that goodness? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there were just a couple, like, they were literally a couple of scenes away from me. I hate using the words complaining because I'm not really, the decisions I just felt were a little off. And then even in the finale, I thought the finale overall was good, right? We got a really good finale. I think they tied up and they incorporated the bigger picture, as you were saying. Grogu returned. He made that choice, albeit I think it was a little too soon, but he made the choice, off camera. Came back to Mando. We got the what do you call it? The reunion we all wanted, and it was touching. I teared up a little bit when he jumped in Mando's arms. But then there were a couple of like leadership choices coming from Boba that were very questionable to me, deciding to stay in the sanctuary, which fine, you want to protect the town, but ultimately you destroy the town. I love the confrontation between him and Cad Bane. I kind of wish the final showdown was a little bit more climactic. But again, I get it. You only have a certain amount of time and you had so much to do. And that was the thing. That's why I'm saying, like, if you wouldn't have taken the show, if you wouldn't have taken the audience away from Boba's story for as long as you did, I'm not saying we didn't need to see Ahsoka, Luke, Grogu, and Din. I'm just saying shorten it up a little bit. Maybe not give Din a whole entire episode. Maybe some end credit scenes, shit like that. I think a cliffhanger with Grogu choosing, or what's he going to choose? And then we find out in Mandalorian season 3, just to keep people talking this whole year before we finally get it. So, I mean, again, like I'm going to watch it anyway. But I just felt like, and again too, Robert Rodriguez. I don't know if it was just his directing style, but there were a couple things in the episodes he directed that I wasn't crazy about. But again, I think he did a good job in the finale. It was cool as fuck seeing the Rancor. We all knew it was coming, although I think for the most part we forgot he was even there, because again, it was like a month removed from when we got baby Rancor delivered to Boba. And we even realized that Boba has a Rancor. So when he finally went out to get some backup reinforcements, he should say, which, by the way, too, I know other people are talking about it, but I was also thinking before this, a lot of people were saying, well, if Boba shot off his rocket, how come he had it later on in the episode? I think when he went back to the palace, I think he just grabbed another one. I think that's an easy fix.
That's always been a Boba thing, though. Like
Right.
he
No,
always
but in this case, I don't even think it's a continuity error. I think when he went to get a ship, get the Rancor, I think it's just as simple as he just stopped. He just stopped and got whatever he needed. He's going back to war, so it makes sense if he's grabbing some other ammunition. So, it was cool seeing the Rancor. I even though I wanted him to get shot. What's the mayor's assistant? What's the character's name again?
I don't remember the character.
I'm not gonna lie. I wanted the Pykes to just shoot him dead right there and then. I thought that's what was happening because obviously Boba sent him out to as a distraction, and he basically had him say that shit that's on that thing, which I think coincidentally people have noticed online, and it's funny because I actually had this as a kid. That's how old I am. That long thing was actually an old bowling game from I think the early '80s or the late '70s. So it was kind of cool that they incorporated that in the thing. So when he's reading off the demands, which has a lot of huge references to Godfather. This whole episode did. It was kind of cool because he knew that all right, they're probably going to kill me now. So I was hoping he was going to get killed, but then his scenes with Pelimano, I was like, oh yeah, there's a little spark there. So he might show up in another. They might get something going on. What do you think?
Yeah, we could see him in Mando season 3. We could see him in Boba season 2.
Yeah. So now is that happening? Is that something they're moving forward with the Book of Boba? We getting another book?
I mean, if your numbers did what they said the numbers did, I don't see why not. I don't see how you don't. But look,
I want to see new directors though. I'll be honest. I do want to see. And look, is it Fukuyama? How do you say Rick's last name?
Fukuhara.
Okay. I'm just gonna say Rick. So Rick.
Fumiyawa.
Okay.
I'm thinking Karen Fukuhara.
So Rick's episodes, we all know Deborah Chow, probably one of the better of all of them.
I don't know if I'd say that.
I definitely think. I think Deborah Chow. Yeah, this is how I would probably rank them as far as directors go. Probably Deborah. I'll go Filoni because I do like it. The last couple episodes he did. Probably Rick behind that. It's a tie. It's a toss up between Bryce and Rick. But I think Rick, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and Taika. You can't forget Taika. Taika did a couple of good episodes. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind some different directors. Maybe not even from that list of names. Just to make it a little bit fresh. I think. We obviously got Bryce and Filoni, but maybe just switch it up a little bit. I'm not saying take Filoni out or Bryce, but I just think adding. But Deborah Chow I know is doing Obi-Wan, so I don't know if she'll be available to do anything. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, Obi-Wan's done.
Yeah.
So the only thing filming currently is Mando. So
okay.
And it's probably all in the same lot.
Okay. So who would you put as your favorite then?
Filoni.
Okay.
Bryce, Rick, then Deb. Then to me, don't change anything. This is the same recipe you had for Mando 1, Mando 2, Book of Boba. Don't change it. It's a great recipe. No one complained about Mando season 1 or 2.
No. That's my point because we had this pool of directors, but in Book of Boba, you only had Filoni and Bryce.
But again, this was a split. This was split. Some people didn't like it. Some people did like it. To me, you rule on the side of these directors were great and not complained about in 1 and 2. Only in Book of Boba. But
the ones that were a hit though, the ones that people liked were Bryce, Filoni, and oh wait, it was only Bryce and Filoni, right?
Yeah, because Robert did pretty much everything else.
Robert did 3. We're missing. Oh no, there was one. There was another one. I can't think of. I think it was a woman. I can't think of her name. I'm sorry, but she's the one that did chapter 2. So we did have 4 directors. There were 4 directors. I'm just saying. I just feel like the ones that did Mando season 1 and 2, and also did Book of Boba, were the hits. The ones that didn't, I felt were the weaker episodes. Any characters you'd like to see get their own show? Fennec. I think Fennec could probably carry her own show. I mean, with obviously sprinkling some cameos, but I think Fennec, I would love to see a Fennec show. Cobb Vanth. Cad Bane, maybe give Cad Bane a little bit more of a story between this and the animated series. What do you think?
Definitely no, absolutely not. Those are all characters that they're they're just too secondary. Like Fennec Shan, I now only want to see if I see Boba, and I don't really know how much I need to see Boba.
You know, Nurmatech actually has a good point. I mean, this basically was Fennec show.
Yeah, Trayvon is obsessed with Fennec Shan.
I don't. No, look, I don't dispute it. It's obviously not her show. It's not her show, but I mean, she also, I think, was probably to me. If you're not, look, don't include the characters that came from either other shows or whatever, because Fennec and Boba were marketed to be in this series together. So she was there. Out of the two, I think she stole the show, or at least for me. I know I'm not the only one that says that, but I'm not saying everybody else thinks that way. But I think Fennec, especially how she handled the business at the end of this episode, to me, basically solidifies the fact that yes, she was I think she was the more dominant character in the show when it came to that lineup.
Sure, but no one would have watched this season, let alone gave it as much feedback as they did if this was called Fennec Shan.
Well, here's the thing though. If you take Fennec Shan, give her a backstory, aka flashbacks, for a few episodes, sprinkle in some cameos like you did as a failsafe, I believe, with Mando and whatever else we got to tell a bigger story, but also to say, hey, you know, these characters still exist too. I think Fennec probably gave the same numbers as Boba.
Oh God, definitely
not. I do. I'll tell you why, because what drove those numbers up? What drove those numbers up? The cameo? Boba. No, the cameos. Boba's finale got a higher percentage.
It only had one cameo, which was Mando. That was
but it was coming off the gossip of the larger cameos that you got in the previous episodes. Well, those cameos don't happen.
I'm out. We had Ahsoka, right, Boba, and Fennec on the heels of Mando's finale. And it still did more numbers than that. And that finale fucking had Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, but nobody knew Luke Skywalker was coming. I honestly don't know.
No one knew Ahsoka wasn't coming.
But here's the thing. Now you got the conversation. And I think this also explains it a little better too. We all know that Luke came in last year. We know the surprise that we all got. Like literally, what was it? Right before Christmas. So it was like an early Christmas gift for Luke Skywalker. Like they brought Luke Skywalker back onto the big screen. They did it, you know, whatever technology they use, right? Okay. Now you got this series. Started out a little slow, right? But then word of mouth, because I know a lot of people that just gave up with it too. A lot of either YouTubers or even friends I know just gave up with it because it just wasn't for them, which is fine. I didn't give up on it because I like Star Wars, but whatever. Now you get cameo. First, you get a full episode with Mando, but then you get the cameos with Ahsoka and Luke and Grogu. But then there was also so many other speculations of what we might get in the finale. And I think because of in the back of your mind of what we got as such a big of a cameo of Luke, how can they top that? So I think maybe that's why it propelled the numbers as high as it was.
I don't think so, because it wasn't even a better episode than Mando season 2's finale.
No, it definitely wasn't. No, and that's what I'm just trying to understand why this is how it is.
I'm just trying to tell you, it's off of people's love of knowing who Boba Fett is. Boba 100% carries a lot of weight. It's why we're having these conversations we're having of not liking and liking and what we expected and what we didn't get is because Boba has that. Mando's never had to go through that. It's why it's people kind of nitpick very little with Mando because you can't nitpick shit that's created. They just created everything for Mando.
Yeah, but there was a lot of nitpicks with that show, with the fillers and all the expeditions that he had to do.
That's something you get with all shows. Daredevil had some fillers. I'm saying as far as a character.
I'll argue though, I will give this to Boba, the Book of Boba. I didn't see any episodes as fillers. I mean, you only had 7 episodes anyway, but I didn't see any episodes as fillers.
No, Mando's episode was technically a filler.
Technically.
It had nothing to do with the main story itself.
Exactly. It didn't propel anything.
Right. It was a filler. But it was just a beautiful ass filler.
But I also have come to see that, and this is either by the accounts I follow on Instagram and social media, YouTube. I'm not going to say her name, but there's this one girl who's literally like obsessed with Boba. and I have followed her probably since 2013, 2014, and she refused to watch the show after the first few episodes because of how she didn't like the way they portrayed her favorite character. And this is somebody that is heavily into the lore. She was always posting stuff about the animated series, Clone Wars, Rebels, you name it, she watched it. So there was a lot of things. There's a lot of people that didn't take this interpretation of the character to heart. So that's why I'm still trying to figure out why the finale did so well, other than just word of mouth and gossip from the previous episodes.
It's just the name. It's purely just the name.
You know what? I'll give you that, Trayvon, too. How about just an episode? Maybe not a whole series, but just an episode of her backstory, a little bit more. But I feel like we got her. I think we got her, but I think we already. Does she even have a backstory that we need to know?
No, she's a secondary character. Who gives a fuck?
Like, a secondary character that
now
was
pushing dope.
Secondary character that was pushed to the forefront, though. Because like you even
you can't say it was strong without the need of cameos. Its biggest episode was Ahsoka that year. What the what are we talking about?
I didn't even get to read it. I thought you were talking about what I said.
It was so fresh.
Yeah, that was definitely a surprise for Luke at the end of Mando season 2. So that show was strong without the need of yes.
Ahsoka was the biggest episode that season till the finale. Like they had the same cameos. Boba was in Mando. Luke was in Mando. Ahsoka was in Mando.
Right.
Same thing in Boba.
Again, though, in all fairness, that's season 2 of a show of a character that's already been out for over a year. We got no cameos in season 1, and that show did awesome.
Sure, absolutely. Why? Because it had no expectations. You didn't know Mando because the character didn't exist. The lore didn't exist.
Hold on.
There were no expectations.
But that can go two ways, though. Really quick, that can go two ways. I get what you're saying. That makes sense. You bring a character like Boba Fett, and if you don't do it a certain way, or if certain people are going to get rubbed the wrong way, then it could fail. But at the same time, you bring a character like Mandalorian, Djarin. Nobody's ever heard of him. I didn't know who he is. People thought he was fucking Boba Fett, or a version of Boba Fett. I'm like, no, I knew that much, but that show could have failed so easily if the writing was bad. Because who cares about him? Who cares about him?
You could say that for a lot. I'm saying the reason why season 1 didn't have to lean on anything was that it was the same thing as Iron Man. You're playing with house money. No one gives a fuck about Iron Man. You fail.
Exactly. But that's the thing is,
that's what I'm saying. You're playing with house money, so you don't need to do anything to make it better.
But just because Iron Man was a character that nobody knew about, right? Same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy for the most part. At least I can say that personally. I didn't know much about the Guardians before they came out into the big screen. If the movie isn't good, then it's not going to be good, whether it has low expectations or not. So what I'm saying is the way they constructed season 1 of Mandalorian, the way they made me fall in love with not only baby Grogu, because I know the whole world fell in love with him, but they made me actually feel something for a fucking droid in IG-11, more so than what I've ever felt with any character in this series of Book of Boba Fett. In fact, you can even argue, especially in the finale, there were no stakes to anything that was going on. You never felt tense because nobody who died. You had a full-out war. Nobody fucking died. You had a character that got shot 55 times, had a broken ankle, and that was fine. But nobody, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they could have killed one of the Power Rangers off. That meant something. I know a couple of them died. I think the Lionel Richie one looking. It was funny. Christian Harlow was doing a breakdown. He's like, look, we got Lionel Richie.
He did look a little like Lionel.
It was funny. It was fun. Well, obviously Commodores, from the Commodores age, Lionel Richie. If you guys know what the Commodores are. I mean, that's my music. But it's just like, you know what I'm saying? It was like there were no stakes. But in season 1 in the finale, and then of course in season 2, they did write it so well that you did care about most of the characters that were there.
But there were no stakes in that either.
There were.
No one died in either one of those.
But I don't know.
No,
Yeah, IG-11 died. IG-11 died. Quill.
it's a droid.
Quill. What about Quill? He was a character that people he helped Mando on his way. He helped him
Not
with
the
his whatever.
finale.
He died.
Finale.
No, but nobody died. Who died at all in this series?
No. I'm only responding to what you were saying. You were saying it didn't have any stakes.
Oh, especially in the finale. Yeah.
Mando season 2 didn't have any stakes. Mando season 1 didn't have any stakes for their finale.
I don't know. You were on your heels. You thought for the most part. I mean, I he wasn't going to get killed, but come on, when what's his face picks up the gun, Grand Moff, not Grand Moff, Moff Gideon. When Moff Gideon picks up the gun and shoots at Grogu, you didn't you didn't gasp, you didn't cry, you didn't tear up.
That's not stakes though, because like we could have seen numerous characters die by the Rancor, to where it was like, oh shit. Even the scene where Din is kind of getting boxed in, and it's like, well, we know he's not gonna die, but it's like someone gonna come take a bullet for Din. Like, is Grogu gonna get hurt? And then it was like, oh, well, no one did. So
yeah.
To me, stakes can't just be you build up to it. Stakes has to be you build up and then you do it. Like someone actually gets shot, someone actually dies.
All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yes.
No one did.
In that regards, but I would argue then there was. So what am I thinking? Maybe there was no build up. Is that what it was? I don't know. I have no idea. But look, so if I'm going to have to if I was going to rate the finale, I probably would give it a 7. I think it was definitely one of the stronger Boba forward. When I say Boba forward, he was actually in the episode. I think that was probably my favorite Boba Fett episode, by giving it a 7. Overall, I probably give the series probably like a 5.5 or a 6. Just to me, it just felt disjointed. It didn't feel like an actual, like a linear series. And I get it, it's a book. It's meant to be in chapters. But if you're going to argue that the Mandalorian episode was a filler, that propelled nothing to the story of Book of Boba Fett, then don't call it a Book of Boba Fett. Call it a different show. Call it the Boba Fett. Boba Fett show.
We just had the conversation though. We've seen this before.
Yes, I know. The title character, but hey, that would have been balls.
Yeah, no, I give it an 8. It progressed Star Wars. It's created the feel of Star Wars being back. And look, Star Wars has never been as divisive as it has since The Last Jedi. And it's a world I'm just gonna have to get used to going forward. But I watch Star Wars to watch good Star Wars. That's really all I care about. And it just progressed good Star Wars. If all you were doing, and I've said this before, Book of Boba was always a bridge. They couldn't get the Mandalorian season out, so they needed a bridge. They put the Book of Boba Fett out. Great. The only thing people were looking for before this series started was how this motherfucker got out the Sarlacc pit. That was it. How does this motherfucker get out of the Sarlacc? That's what I want to know.
That's what I want to know. We all wanted to know. Yeah.
They answered it beautifully. Everything else was only going to either be icing on the cake or the removal of icing off that cake. So to me, I split hairs. I ended this season with me going, I felt Star Wars was well represented. That's really all I just need to feel the embrace of Star Wars that I thought that fucking trilogy did not give me. I never felt like I was in Star Wars. The shit was just fucking horrible writing, bro. It was just so bad. This is not bad writing.
Nothing to argue. I'm not going to argue there. Definitely not going to argue there.
Bad writing. So to me, I at least need to feel Star Wars, and this feels like Star Wars.
Yes, listen to Jim. I remember when you said Grogu should have been shot, which I couldn't believe you said that. I was like, I don't know about that. I definitely don't know about that. I mean, they would lose a lot of viewers and a lot of money in merchandise. Yeah, Mr. Reese said somehow Palpatine returned. Well, don't get me started on that.
Again, not good writing.
Lazy writing.
Good writing.
Safe.
That's what I'm saying. Book of Boba. No. That's not bad writing. I've seen bad fucking writing. Attack of the Clones, bad writing. Last Jedi, bad writing. Rise of Skywalker, bad fucking writing. How do you end the movie with someone having a new lightsaber with a new crystal?
Yeah.
We were meant to believe those crystals in temples didn't exist anymore.
Yep.
or there would have been more Jedi around the galaxy.
Yeah. Well, no, not about Jedi, but they would have. I mean, there's still
Don't
gonna be Jedi.
call a movie The Last Jedi to showcase that Rey was the last lineage of the Jedi, but there's more fucking crystals? Then why didn't other Force-sensitive people go seek out the crystals?
Hey, she did get adopted by the Skywalkers, though. That's all that matters. She's Rey Skywalker now. So it's great.
Worst writing. The whole point of you doing this series was to get out of Skywalker, only for you to end it with more fucking Skywalker.
Well, I mean, the title was Rise of Skywalker, so
no, but I'm saying the plan was always to further that. But you thought from the first movie, like, all right, is this going to be the granddaughter? Is this going to be Kenobi's granddaughter? Where are we going to go? And then it's like Palpatine. And then she ends with, I'm going to be Skywalker. What the fuck? What? Yeah. Horrible writing. So like I said, Book of Boba, love it or hate it, I've seen worse writing in Star Wars.
No, look, I can't argue that. I can't. I'm just saying, and we've had this conversation too. I think it's great to have conversations about Star Wars. I felt that The Last Jedi was definitely the worst of the new trilogy.
I think it's the worst fucking Star Wars movie.
No, you're right. No, it is.
I could watch Attack of the Clones way more than I could The Last Jedi.
I personally put Attack of the Clones as the worst, but Last Jedi is definitely down there. But I'll have a conversation about it. There are people that don't even want to talk about it.
I honestly don't. I'm shocked I even did this.
But
I don't want to talk about The Last Jedi. Fucking horrible Star Wars.
But there is great Star Wars telling, and there is, okay, this was good, and then there is The Last Jedi. And I think for me, the Book of Boba Fett and the way it was structured and the way I think the way they executed it, other than the finale, other than the last 3 episodes, I'll give you that. It only fared in the middle for me. It wasn't like, oh my God, I want to rewatch this series. I can't wait. I'll sit down. I watched just the other, last week or 2 weeks ago, I watched seasons 1 and 2, all in a row of Mandalorian. And I loved it. And I already knew what was going to happen. I even teared up again when we saw Luke, and I already knew that. I fucking watched that scene and watched that episode more times than the series itself. So, I just get, and that's what anybody can do, is just go by the way anything makes them feel. And to me, I got a couple of the feels in the final few episodes, but overall, I just felt there was, I don't know. It was just all, to me, it felt it was all over the place. But look, I'm not it's not to say that if season 2 comes out, I'm not going to watch it. I will watch it, and we will be doing shows about it. We'll be talking about it. Can't wait for Mandalorian season 3. I can't wait for Obi-Wan in a couple of months. Just 3 months.
I'm just saying, Star Wars fans, just be careful, because we see what DC became when it was just a few of, I didn't really like what they did with Superman, and then that became, I fucking hate Superman, and then that became, I only like Zack Snyder's movies, and then that became, I won't accept anything if it's not Zack. So I'm just saying, Star Wars fans, please. We can like and dislike, but please do not become toxic and divisive. That's all I ask. I can't stomach what DC has become. It's almost unbearable.
Yeah, but liking and disliking doesn't equate to being toxic. So what do you mean by that?
No. I'm saying DC started that way, where it was just, I didn't like Man of Steel. I didn't like the direction of that. I didn't really like where Zack's his headspace was doing that movie. Mm-hmm. And then it became, I fucking hate these movies. Then it became, I don't want to see him do it anymore. And then it just drastically became more and more toxic. I'm saying, Star Wars fans, it's cool to dislike, it's cool to like, but don't let it grow into us becoming divisive. That's the reason why Star Wars has always been the best community.
Yeah, but I don't think you can
been that divided.
But for the most part, though, if you're going to bring DC into the conversation, though, I don't really think that falls on the fans. I personally feel, because I also dislike, for the most part, not all. There were a good handful of DC films that I actually liked, especially in the last few years. But for the most part, the way they treated the Man of Steel there was no plan. It felt like there was no plan. So how do you fault the fans and be like, you know what are you guys doing?
Well, like, there was a plan. It was a very strategical plan. It was the plan of Superman, then Batman,
Right.
then Superman and Batman,
Mm-hmm.
then you want to build to a Justice League,
Right.
then you want to give individual
Yeah, but
stories.
that plan never happened though.
Because it was stopped short. But Zack literally followed that. We got Superman, BVS, Justice League. He was going to do Justice League 2, then worry about everyone's individuals. It then halted after BVS. And then it was, no. Now we need to worry about a Wonder Woman movie, an Aquaman movie. Then you do Justice League. Then we get Shazam.
Well, that's because that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so Zack, all right, even if Zack had a plan, that plan to me, whether it went through or not, was actually the wrong structures. The way I think if you follow the Marvel, I'm not saying DC has to be Marvel, but I think, and I'm not saying everything has to be connected. You don't want to be like Marvel and connect everything. You want to have standalone films. Obviously the Batman coming up, Joker, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Not everything has to be connected, but when you're telling a larger story and you want to incorporate a team up like the Justice League, as the Avengers did, I just feel it would have made a little bit more sense introducing the characters first. Give us a Wonder Woman. Give us a Batman.
Again, Zack was working from a symbol of strength as opposed to Feige. You don't have to do individuals when 3 out of your 6 are the most recognizable characters in the history of.
You never, at this point, you've never gotten a Wonder Woman live action. What do you call it?
But people know Wonder Woman is.
You see, that's
no
what
one knows Black Widow. No one knows Hawkeye. No one knows Cap, Thor, Iron Man.
I disagree. I think you really underestimate fans. I don't really read comics as much, but I'm pretty sure Captain America and Thor were known names. I mean, Thor's a Norse god.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, there is a reason. There's a reason why. And even Feige said this. He said it was a long shot to start with these 4 characters. 3 minus
Iron Man makes Iron Man. I get yes, Iron Man. Yes,
but you're forgetting Iron Man was very hot in the 90s. Very hot in the 90s. People should have known him from that. No one did. Cap was well before that. That was the 60s. Thor was in between the 60s and the 90s. They weren't notable. When it comes to Marvel, it's X-Men, Spider-Man.
I agree. I agree with Mr. Ree. Batman. I mean, first of all, Batman. How many films have you gotten from Batman? But they needed to tell a different Superman movie because we hadn't gotten one since Superman Returns back in 2006. So you needed to show something. So I'm all right. I'm all right with them starting with Man of Steel. All right, I can go on board with you with not getting a Batman origin story because we definitely don't need another Batman origin story. I mean, that's why they're not doing that with Pattinson's Batman. They're starting in year 2. Which I think is smart. But I think Wonder Woman probably would have been a little bit better, especially even Flash. Flash, I feel like should have gotten maybe a solo film before because Flash is definitely well known. You have a CW show on it. You know, I just feel like
why you don't do an origin story.
No, again, I don't know. I don't know if these need to be origin stories. I don't think solo stories deservedly mean origin stories.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's why Cap, Thor, and Iron Man were origin stories.
You needed those to be origin. Yeah.
You're not familiar with those characters.
No, you needed those to be origin. I get it.
Wonder Woman, Flash, especially Flash because the series was out, but Flash, Batman, Superman, the way Zack did it wasn't the problem.
I mean, Thor technically is not an origin story because Thor is just Thor. Thor's a god. There's not an origin. He's born that way. He's a god.
No, right. But the origin story is of Thor's life. Right.
Got it. Yeah.
But the way Zack did it wasn't the problem. The problem was people feel as though the movies weren't good. Again, you doing that right off the bat wasn't the problem. To me, the problem was too many people thought it wasn't good. But you starting with Superman just to build the template and then BVS and then so on and so forth, I agreed with because you have 3 of the most home run hitters. So it's like, yeah, you just want to fucking swing for home runs. That's what you do. But people are going to shit on you when you start missing home runs and you're striking out. And
the fact that you had Batman and Superman in the same film and it didn't crack $1 billion, that's a problem. Really quick, Mystery said that the Disney trilogy is straight booty. I wouldn't say straight booty. I did enjoy Force Awakens. Force Awakens is actually one of my favorite Star Wars films. It's just a New Hope ripoff. Yes, it had similar tropes and similar concepts.
It 1,000% was, but it was
Star Killer base, but it was good. Last Jedi, I agree. Let's not even talk about it. And the Rise of Skywalker, not Rise of Jedi, but the Rise of Skywalker, had to do course correction, had to do a lot. So it definitely did bear it down. And it shackled it to become a little bit more. And then obviously at that point, JJ just played it safe, especially bringing Palpatine back. I got called a racist. I don't know why. And butthurt fanboy because I made fun of Last Jedi. I don't know why you would be called a racist for that, but because I mean,
That's what I'm talking about, Mystery. That's what I'm saying. Don't become that.
After that, I never mentioned Star Wars again. I just lost complete interest in it because of the stupid bickering. I don't understand, and that's what Joanne is talking about. I mean, and that's the toxicity you need to stay away from.
That's never what Star Wars was.
If you're in a circle of people calling each other names, especially racist, because you don't like, how does that make you a racist?
I'm really confused on what would be racist.
For not liking that film? I guess I'm racist. I like Zach, but it was the pissing contest between the top executives and Zach that killed DC.
Don't get me wrong. Zach's plan was to fucking kill Batman. So as you well know, I was never on board with that plan. But
I clicked that already.
The way he started it was, not horrible.
If I remember correctly, Zach had complete control of Man of Steel, but he still got flack.
Yes, people didn't like how dark Superman was and the fact that he killed, even though
I was fine with that.
Their precious Christopher Reeve Superman also killed.
Yeah,
so
no, I was confused. I'm all right. Look, I'm not one of the purists where I don't need to see Batman killing people. I don't know how you fall on that, Joanne.
Batman should never kill.
But
every movie iteration has.
But I feel like I feel like there's a time. What is that? Isn't that the phrase? A time to kill. I feel like there's always
not for Batman. That was his number one rule. Because to me, when he kills, it's a complete, utter spit in the face of the vow he made. Remember, his parents were murdered.
Yeah,
so he vowed to make sure no one else's parents got murdered.
If my parents got murdered, I would have been like, yeah, no. But okay, so if your vow is to, but you just said the vow was to prevent other parents from being murdered,
right?
That doesn't mean you can't murder the ones that are trying to do the murdering.
No, his actual vow was, I do not kill. If he killed, then you're no different than the Joker who just wants to kill people for his reasons.
Well, no, because the Joker wants to kill people. Anakin, come on, dude, calm down. All right, I'll let you down. The Joker wants to kill for bad reasons. If the
killing is killing, it doesn't. I don't know. No matter why you're killing, killing is killing.
So what about the American army?
Killing is killing.
No, but I understand that. But is it not justified when it's in war? Is what I'm saying. It's
absolutely not. Not when you're saying the other side is bad because
okay. So if there's a group of terrorists that aren't killed, and they happen to blow our families up because we didn't feel the need to kill them.
No.
That's what Peacemaker says, and that's why I like what Peacemaker says. There's a reason why Batman has a rogue gallery of villains because he's too pussy to kill. I don't think Batman's a pussy. I'm paraphrasing.
Iron Man doesn't kill. Cap doesn't kill. There's plenty of heroes.
Those are Disney. That's also because it's Disney.
They didn't kill before Disney.
Hey, Wanda killed. Wanda killed a bunch of civilians in that building.
Oh, well, 100. Well, first of all, that was an accident. That wasn't on purpose.
Batman definitely always kills. Some of those henchmen are definitely dying. Well, yeah, but that's
Batman only kills in the movies. I just watched Michael Keaton's first Batman, and he dropped a bomb in front of people and drove off.
I missed a couple really quick. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what that crackhead was thinking. He's talking about the one that called him a racist. Best scene in DC period when Jonathan tells Clark not to save him.
Thank you, listener Jim.
No, that's great. Yeah, no.
That was beautiful. I love that.
I completely agree. When Kevin Costner gets killed, hell yeah.
So much. Zach was beautiful in that.
I definitely agree. No, I agree. I love that scene. And I do also like the scene where he kills Zod. Because he doesn't want to. You could see he doesn't want to. It would have made more sense for Bruce to retire after Robin died.
He did.
Batman definitely. Oh, we already got that one. And okay, we're not caught up. Joker definitely should be dead immediately. He is dead. Well,
no,
the Keaton.
But you guys don't understand Batman. Batman's whole thing is you should give people a chance to become better.
Not the Joker. The Joker is
the same thing Peter feels about Green Goblin. Green Goblin is like his Joker.
Yeah, guess what? Aunt May got killed because of it, though.
Yes, but you can't retaliate death for death. That's what
you're not retaliating death from death. No. So here's the thing: because a lot of people have a mentality, this fix all mentality, whether it's women in toxic relationships think they can change somebody. Oh, he can change somebody. Or, oh, he's beating the shit out of me. Oh, he's okay. He's a good person. Guess what? You just ended up dead because you didn't take action. I'm not saying that they needed to kill this person, but I'm just saying some people cannot be reformed, and some villains should not be meant to live. So I think that's where
that's not their decision to make. It's not the decision of America to make. You can't just go out and go, all right, I saw him push that lady down, I'm gonna go shoot him in the face. Like,
no, that's now we're talking about a vigil. Now we're talking about a vigilante. I'm not talking about vigilantism. I'm not talking about that.
That's
and
what
I guess
I
get Batman is a vigilante. I get that. No. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, whether it comes to certain justifications of killing, because it's not murder at that point. I don't think it's killing, because you're saving somebody's life. If you're saving somebody's life in the process of killing somebody, if somebody breaks into my house with a gun and is threatening me and my family, he's going to. No, how is it different though?
Because that is your place. That's your home that they're breaking into.
Oh, Batman's breaking it. Okay. If you're going out looking for it,
Batman's literally perched on a rooftop, just like,
right.
all right,
you're
you
right.
stole a purse.
What? Look,
you're right.
Look, you're 100% right. You are right. He's actually going out looking for it. I get it. You're right. Well, that's why the cop. But that's the other thing, though, too. That's why the cops are always after him, because he is a vigilante.
But that's what I'm saying. Picture how much worse it would be if he's out just murdering all these villains. It'd be like, what the hell?
Wait, why did that come up?
Yeah, you went backwards.
No, I didn't. I did. I'm sorry. I went. You know why? Because I'm getting a lot. All heroes kill, he said, intentionally or not. Well, because look at Joker died in '89 Batman. I don't think he meant to kill Joker, but that's
no. But that was different. He was trying to help him up.
Yeah, no, he slipped. It wasn't intentional, but
that wasn't like Scar letting go of Mufasa.
But here's the other thing I'm going to say in the same breath. I don't want villains dying. I don't want them to be one and done.
Duh.
I don't want the Joker, the fucking Joker to die in the first episode or the first movie, or the Riddler.
What?
Yeah.
I'm saying I appreciate heroes because that's what our prison system in real world should be, where you're trying to fix these people, not just putting them in worse situations. So to me, it's like, yeah, don't just go out murdering everyone.
What's listener Jim Malud, what do you call it, talking about? It might be in a small group. I want to see the nightmare scene. The nightmare scene. I get it. Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you, listener Jim. And we are finally up to date. All right. Look, we went on a huge tangent. We went from talking about Star Wars to DC, back to Star Wars, back to DC, and then murdering people. But again, it's a cause for great conversation, and I enjoy the conversation that we had, you and I, Jawan, but also with Trayvon and Jim and Mr. E. I want to just make sure. I'm pretty sure there's the three of you guys in here today. Again, I'm trying out a new streaming service.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that, Mr. E, but still, they don't need to die. I mean,
what do you say? It is a new. Okay. The reason villains die in movies is because they don't plan on going back to them, or some BS like that. Yes. Well, no, I get that. Yeah. There are certain, because then you have your low level villains, right? I think it depends on the villain.
It depends on the villain. Like if you did a Batman movie, actually, let's not use Batman. Let's get out of Batman. If you do a Superman movie and you kill off Bizarro, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go, fuck, you could have used Bizarro in this, but like, don't kill off Darkseid. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you this though.
Down the line.
Let's go to the other. Let's go to Marvel. You got Spider-Man. You wouldn't kill Green Goblin and Doc Ock, would you? They died in the first movies.
Sinister Six.
I know, but that's the thing. Like, and that's the problem. That's the problem I have with Marvel, and we've talked about this, Jawan, is the fact that they kill off their fucking villains. You killed Thanos. Well, I mean, at least you had Thanos in a few movies, but
you built up to Thanos, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. You killed Red Skull only to bring him back as a ghost.
You killed Ego, a Celestial. You killed him off.
I would have liked to have seen how he fit in with the rest of the Celestials.
Yeah,
so it's like,
they are a little quicker in Marvel to well, then again, yeah, because look at Dark Knight. Dark Knight didn't kill. He just happened to die in real life, but they didn't kill the Joker.
But see, that movie explained especially well the mentality of Batman. He could have easily just cut Joker.
He could have. He could have. Yes,
he could have. If I do that, I become you. The whole point of this that Joker was trying to do was to show people there is no difference between me and Batman.
Right.
And he said the only way for people to understand the difference is for me not to kill him. If I kill him, then it's like, well, fuck, you're just like him.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
can't do that. And that's why Batman said, I can't let Jim Gordon go down.
But I think there are times where there's going to be the unintentional casualty that Batman is going to sustain, or any superhero is going to sustain, because they're not meaning to kill them. So maybe I meant it that way. When I'm talking about self-defense or whatever, that's completely different. So I don't even know why I brought that up earlier.
Self-defense to me only works if you're doing what Superman did to Zod.
Yeah.
But in superheroes, because they're not in reality, there is never a time where I want to see that they had to kill unintentionally. The idea is that's something I fear. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, someone's coming after me, or they're hurting someone I love, and I'm just trying to get them away, and accidentally the gun goes off or something. I don't need Batman to go, I accidentally threw the Batarang too hard. Like, what the fuck? No, like, no, like, you threw the Batarang and you knocked them out, or whatever the hell. You know?
Yeah, but you throw a forceful object at somebody's chest, whether you're meant to or not, you can kill them.
Batman is too precise to go, oh, I meant to hit him in the shoulder, I hit him in the forehead. Like, no, like, you were clearly trying to kill him then, and that's what we don't need. So that's all I'm saying. If you guys want killing, watch Star Wars, read Star Wars. It's a whole bunch of Sith killing, all out the wazoo.
But if you want limbs cut off, don't watch the sequel trilogy, because there are no limbs cut off whatsoever in non-Star Wars fashion. All right, guys, we're going to end the stream here, because in about 10 minutes now, I set it up for 12:30. We're going to be doing our Peacemaker episode 7 spoiler review. Episode 8 comes out tomorrow, which I'm excited about. I believe that is the finale, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And from what you hyped it up to be, without telling me what you think might happen or what is rumored to happen, I can't wait even more so. So I do want to thank everybody in the chat. Listen to Jim, Trayvon, and of course, Mr. E. You guys, if you are fans of Peacemaker, hop into the stream coming up in 9 minutes. We're going to be talking about episode 7. Again, Joanne, thanks for joining me. As always, it's a great conversation. Stay tuned for more Galactic Gossip, a Star Wars show where we talk all things Star Wars, all things goodness. Guys, enjoy your day, and I'll see everybody really soon. You there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you had me muted.
All right. No, because you know why? Because they're muted. We're muted while that thing's playing.